The whole idea that Black excellence was supposed to be around celebrating our Blackness, celebrating all the achievements that we've made, especially because people who do not look like us tend to not recognize just how much we've put into this country and everything that has grown from it. But it has also created this negative effect of perpetuating and creating workaholism in us. And that is just a sentiment that perpetuates perfectionism, the idea that we're not enough, and justifies being a workaholic to prove our worth. And we shouldn't have to prove our worth, not to anyone else, and definitely not to ourselves. So the reason I bring this topic up, there's another video that I love. There's quite a few people who have started talking about how Black excellence has become this standard that has become almost unachievable. Like, you have to be the next astronaut. You have to be the next Kobe Bryant. You have to be this next great, amazing person in order to have any worth. And that's just not true. That's not how it was supposed to be when it started. And it creates this negative perpetuation in us that make us feel like we have to work to prove that we have worth. That's just not true. I call bullshit. I don't want that. So here's my favorite quote. There's another creator here on YouTube that I have really come to love watching. Her name is Alicia Renice, the artist. And I'm going to read it because I don't want to get it wrong. People shouldn't have to die exhausted to be celebrated. So good. You should not have to die exhausted to be celebrated. And that is exactly where workaholism is taking us, especially as a Black woman in our culture. I'm over that idea. I have no want, no need, nor do I want to be a part of any idea that I have to work myself to death to prove that I have something to give to this world. I don't want it. So back in 2020, I was creating my 10-year vision, and it became blaringly clear to me that I was digging myself in this Black excellence workaholic hole. And I was like, hold up, I need to back out of this. And what it was is I realized that every dream, every aspiration that I had on my 10-year vision was more about me proving my worth to the world rather than just doing things that allowed me to be fully who I am and how I wanted to show up in the world. And the sad thing was I hadn't realized it until that point. But the good thing was that I had realized it. And now I can say, I don't want to live my whole life trying to prove myself to someone else. It's time that I change this. I don't need to prove my worth to other people who look like me, to people who don't look like me. I just get to show up and be exactly who I am. And that's what I want to focus on doing. So I decided to call bullshit. I'm done. Now, again, I want to reiterate, I know that that was not the original concept of why the term Black excellence was created, but it's been taken overboard. And this is like my flag, my warning. Hey, let's bring it back. Let's bring it back to celebrating who we are and what we do. But that's more about us just showing up and being who we are. We are creative. We are beautiful. We are excellent. We bring so much to the table that every culture wants a part of. If we just settle back into doing that rather than focusing on being excellent, then we would be exactly that. We would be excellent. And so that is what I am trying to set myself back into doing. But here are 4 reasons why I say Black excellence creates workaholism and what I am trying to do instead. When I think about Black excellence, one of the things that it instills is this pressure to excel at the cost of everything else. Instead, I want to be showing up because I get to show up, because I want to show up, because I have something to offer. And it's shifting my mindset to believe I'm going to show up healed and ready to give away fully who I am because I have it to give away and I want to give it away because my cup is filled up and I want to give that overflow to make this world a better place. I'm shifting my mind to stop forcing myself, to stop pushing myself, to take off this pressure of excelling in order to prove that I am excellent, and instead showing up and being excellent because that's just who I am. That's just the core of who God has created me to be. And the same for every other Black person out there. And I will say for every person, but especially for us, thinking about this as just one of the effects of how slavery and racism has continually been perpetuated. We have to stop perpetuating it in ourselves. And one of the ways that we can stop doing that is by no longer having this mindset that we have to prove our worth. We are just worth it. We have value. That's it, period. The second way that I have found that Black Excellence really creates this mindset of workaholism is that it makes us extremely scared of failing. We've made failure a bad thing rather than a part of the journey. And so we've switched our goal to this mindset of, I have to do everything I can to not fail, rather than seeing that our goal should actually be to just show up and be exactly who we are and keep growing and excelling in everything that we have, learning and developing it, rather than avoiding failure. When we have the mindset that we're trying to avoid failure, we are so busy worried about the negative that we miss just showing up and giving the positive, the beauty of who we are. And that's the mindset that I want to shift. I'm tired of that. I want to wake up every day and know that I'm valuable. I want to have that open heart that says, I know that I have something amazing to offer. I want to be excellent, not because I am trying to prove my worth to someone else, but because God has already made me excellent and I get to give that away. And here's the thing, even when things don't go as planned, I'm still excellent. I still have value. I still have worth. And I should not have to prove that, which leads me to my next point. Black excellence creates workaholism because it is a standard that is validated by external factors. The truth is, it doesn't matter what we achieve. Other cultures, other people, and sometimes even other Black people for that matter, are still not going to see our worth and our value for who we are because the achievements are not enough. They've already decided that we don't have worth. So I really am switching inside of myself to really come to understand my achievements don't define me. My job doesn't define me. How much money I make doesn't define me. The car, the house, any of those things, none of those things define me. What really defines me is me knowing who I am, knowing that I'm an encouraging person, knowing that I can grow and persist and move forward and be better and more than I am through any and every circumstance, that I have something to offer the world. My outlook on the world is something that the world needs because it continues to inspire beauty and groundedness and love for ourselves. That is who I am. That doesn't have to be validated by anything or anyone else. It just gets to be who I am and how I show up in the world every day, day in and day out. So rather than waiting for external validation of all of those things for me, I'm going to validate it for myself. I know that's who I am and that's what I'm going to give away every single day. And if you can't see that, that's fine. I'm going to keep being me any old way. This one. Okay, so this one particularly hits home for me because I hear people say this all the time and I hate it. I hate it. Black excellence creates workaholism by invoking this sense that we have to work 2 times, 3 times, 4 times as hard to be recognized by other people. And that just leads back to the exact same point that I just finished. Please let us stop looking for validation from everybody else and find it within ourselves. Because when we see it from ourselves, everybody else starts to recognize it as well. And it's not because we had to prove it, but it's because our energy towards our own self, towards our own work, shifted from trying to bulldoze our way into believing that we have worth and value and just stood up and said, this is what it is and that's the end of it. And just let it be exactly what it is. At the end of the day, even with these videos, I love that you're here and I love that you recognize my value and worth. But if it ever comes to the place where I have to prove my value and worth for you, then I have to stop. This is a choice for me. This is an active fight against racism systemically and all the other things. I don't have to show up and prove myself to you. I'm going to show up and be who I am, and either you're going to appreciate it or you're not. But either way, I'm going to keep showing up for me, not for you. And hopefully you will understand just how beautiful that is. That way, any recognition is extra sprinkles on top of the cake, the icing, and sprinkles that I already gave myself. It's in addition to that. But I'm already going to give myself cake, ice cream, flowers, and all the other things for myself because I know I've put in the work to deserve it. And that's recognizing me. So how do I keep Black excellence from inspiring workaholism and how I live my life? I do that by reading my power statement. And I use that as my compass, my grounding to make any decisions on how I'm going to live my life, rather than trying to prove myself. And it's a transition where I'm choosing to show up fully as myself. I just get to be me, and that's beautiful and excellent. So you're probably asking, okay, well, what the heck is a power statement? Well, I created it for myself, and then I share it with my client. It's a personal affirmation that's specific to you. What do you bring to the table? What are the characteristics that make you who you are? What do you want to be known for? What are your values? How do you want to show up? And we put it into this beautiful beautiful statement that you can use as your personal affirmation to keep reminding yourself every single day, this is who I am, and I don't have to prove that to anybody else. All I got to do is show up and be me, and you will recognize just how real I am. So by using my power statement and really allowing it to ground me in who I am and how I show up, it's changed everything about how I do things. Rather than proving myself, I get to just show up and be me. And I know that at the end of the day, when I jump out of bed and my feet hit the floor, the devil is like, oh crap, she's awake today. And that's what we get to do. It's less about proving myself to anybody and knowing that I am excellent inside myself because God created me to be from day one. Okay, I'll say, don't aspire to Black excellence. Ditch that. Throw that out. That's nothing but a cycle of proving ourselves to everybody else, to everybody who looks like us, and to ourselves, and that's not worth it. Instead, just aspire to be yourself. Give that away day in and day out. Know that who you are is beautiful and is worth it, and if you wake up every day and give that away, you don't have to work at that. You don't have to work at being yourself. That's a beautiful thing. That doesn't inspire workaholism. You just get to be. You get to create freedom and live a life where everything that you love is important, is valued, and should be a part of this world. That's what I want to see every single one of us live. Black women, Black men, you are already excellent. You already have value. You already have worth. So live like you know it rather than trying to prove it. I know this is a huge topic and there's many perspectives around using the term Black excellence, the negativity around it, the positivity around it, who's right, who's wrong. Rather than this being a conversation of right and wrong, let's just see both sides and use it as a conversation. So hey, I'm Rashida. I am a recovering workaholic, a former strong Black woman, and your dream strategist. I help my clients, especially Black women, learn to work less and live more so they can stop feeling like they have to prove their worth by sacrificing their peace of mind to live a life that they deserve. So let's talk about it in the comments. What do you think about the term Black excellence? Does it inspire workaholism in you, or does it help you aspire to be your best self? Whatever it is, I'd love to hear your feedback. Also, check out the original video that I really enjoyed. She has a couple different videos about this topic, so I'm going to link them here in a playlist that you should check out. And then if you enjoyed what I had to say about this topic, definitely please comment. I would love to hear your feedback, and then subscribe.